Good evening. This is Zahid Kahoot in your corner. The night after the the big fight, AJ versus Usyk, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of insight as to what I think happened and what went wrong. And I think it was all wrong, to be honest with you. It was wrong before the fight even started. From the press conference where he arrived in the Joker outfit. If for those of you who haven't seen the movie The Joker, it's about obviously a psychotic individual who, whilst on a live interview on a live TV show, when insulted by the interviewer, who is De Niro, about his lack of humor, is extremely offended, pulls out a gun and shoots him in the head before a live audience, while the whole world watching, well, the whole of America watching. And when Usyk came to the press conference dressed like the Joker, he was saying something to AJ, and he was saying something to all those people around him that, listen, I might be smiling and I might be looking at you in a strange way, but I've got bad intentions for you. I've got very bad intentions for you. And he's always behaved in a manner which is a little bit psychotic. He has that unhinged look about him, and that stare, that glare that he has against towards an opponent. And the second thing is when they came to the weigh-in and they came face to face, and AJ went to touch Knuckles, and he said, no, 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 we're going to shake hands. And he firmly shook his hand. And he didn't say, I'm going to knock you out, I'm going to do this like Pulev did. Pulev was trying to show how hard he was and knock AJ's fist down. Usyk didn't do none of that. He just stared and smiled at AJ. And AJ looked a bit taken aback. He looked like a bit out of sorts. Like, this guy really is psychotic. And what people have always said in boxing is that some guys aren't scared of anybody. Like Sonny Liston was scared of nobody, he was scared of a psycho. So when Muhammad Ali behaved like somebody was mentally unstable, it got under Sonny Liston's skin. It scared Sonny Liston. And in the same way, Tyson Fury has done that with Wilder. Wilder's not scared of nobody. When Tyson Fury behaves psychotic or behaves in a manner which is unhinged, it gets to people. And that's what Usyk did before the fight even started. And then as soon as the fight started, I don't know what. And another thing, a week before the fight started, right, AJ said, we're going to do it Kronk style. We're going to line him up and knock him out. I mean, whose idea was it that they're going to do it Kronk style? If Tyson Fury's done the Kronk style, and that was ideal for fighting somebody like Wilder. The Kronk style, lining someone up for a big right hand and snapping out the jab, is not suitable for Usyk, who's bouncing in and out of range, at all times, and coming at you from angles and stepping in with the jab, stepping out of range, stepping in with the left hand lead and out of range. So it was never the right tactic. Everybody knows, and I'm a southpaw, everybody knows when you fight a southpaw, and it's common knowledge in grassroots boxing that against a southpaw, you come in behind a right hand lead and a left hook. You try to get your foot outside of theirs, so it cuts off an escape for that individual. You line them up, push them into a corner, right hand lead, left hook. So when they try to slip away, you catch them onto the left hook. Not once in the whole fight did AJ line him up and go with the right hand lead. The right hand leads were arm punches. They were not thrown with conviction. He was not stepping in behind him, dipping and throwing a left hook, a long left hook, for somebody who's so fast on his feet. So that was a tactic, or that was something that was missed. And I can't understand why a world class team were not pushing that. All we saw and heard was, yes, you got a nice high guard, work behind the jab, try to outbox someone who's one of the most skillful boxers that anyone has seen in the cruiser heavyweight division for many, many years. He was bouncing around like Manny Pacquiao. He was like a heavyweight Manny Pacquiao. How was that going to work? Also, AJ's performance was second to that of Derek Chisora when Derek Chisora tried to fight Usyk. Derek Chisora was walking him down. He was cutting the corners off. He was dipping and throwing an overhand right, sort of like a looping right hand, which was a bit telegraphed. And therefore Usyk was able to get out of it. But we expected better from AJ. We thought AJ is going to walk him down, have a high guard, walk him down, and throw nice, powerful overhand rights and left hooks and pin him and manhandle him and get him into the corner. But it wasn't to happen. And one of the things that we noticed early on is because he got under his skin, it was a little bit like Tyson Fury versus Vladimir Klitschko. AJ, like Vladimir Klitschko, didn't want to be embarrassed by throwing big punches and missing, so he was holding back. He was holding back the right hand to try get in range and make sure he hits the target. And the clock was ticking, the rounds were going by, and he wasn't landing. At some point he had to throw caution to the wind and really, really walk him down, back him up, and unload with those fantastic combinations that he has. And we didn't see that. And because he was allowing Usyk to do what he did, he's got a serious injury, he's got an eye injury. So we wish AJ all the best and hope he can come back from this. I'm sure he can come back from this, but you really, really, the team really, really needs to take an inward look and make some changes, because this is not amateur boxing. This is not a high guard jab, step back jab again, 1-2, 1-2 threes. It's not. This is not going to win you unification bouts with Tyson Fury. It's not going to win you a rematch with Usyk. So that's my view. I know Tony Bellew has said it before. The footwork is so amazing by Usyk. He has you constantly under pressure. The feet are in range, he's out of range, and he never lets you take a rest. Like he said, he never let him take a rest. AJ was exhausted by the end of that fight, and I really feel for him. But he was exhausted from doing nothing, from having a high adrenaline, from being on high alert, from something that Usyk was threatening to do and didn't really have the ability to do. He didn't have the power to, he did have the power, but he didn't, really have the size and the strength to bully AJ, but he bullied him mentally. And he out-hustled him and he drew him into his own type of fight. So yeah, it was a disaster from the off. From the press conference to the weigh-in to the ring walk. There shouldn't be no celebrations. No one celebrates before they won. Yes, other people might want you to have a celebration because this is the return of big-time boxing. Yes, it is. It's the return of big-time boxing. But you need to be focused, mate. You need to be focused on your fight and how you're going to... Even in the warm-up in the ring, AJ got in and he just moved around, a bit of lateral movement. He didn't go through his routine. Usyk went through his routine. He was doing his elbow, warming his elbows up and forwards and back. And he was professional about it. He did everything in a particular manner. And when the ring walk, he had his body warmer on. He had his headphones on. He was in the zone. He sat down before he came out for the ring walk. He was in the zone. You cannot afford to be a superstar when your health is at stake and your career is at stake, and £100 million fight is at stake against Tyson Fury. It was taken too lightly and too many mistakes being made. It's easy. The easiest place in the world is on the sidelines watching. But I so wished I wasn't in the sidelines and I could have whispered something into his ear or shouted something, been closer to the ring and shouted something for AJ. Raheem from Raheem Radio thought I was off my head when after round 4 I turned around and said AJ's been schooled, and he thought he's laughed at me as if to say, you don't know what's going on, mate. AJ's just setting him up for some big combinations. But you could see that the skill level and the way he was maneuvering the fight, it was only going to go one way. He'd hypnotized him. And poor AJ couldn't click out of it and fight his fight. So that's my take on what happened and what didn't happen or what should have happened. Thank you very much for listening. Kahuts in your corner. Watch out for some more feeds in future bouts. Thank you.